to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about it anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a Zach, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shang-Chi. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Hopper free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys, we taking over. Call them up like set the day. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I make hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that business like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our court. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the counting when you speaking to me for. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see the outcome. Get them niggas bad, got them tied down and outdone. You can't do with them steps, but niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole court. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our court. And I just made it call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
Back row.
You'll never see another nigga like this. Used to have that white bitch popping on the night shift. Now I'm going westward, sharper than an ice pick. On you rappers' necks, and it's feeling like some vice grips. Yeah, that's light shit. Send my bro a kite quick. Ties of war, we ain't forget about you. Keep your light lit. Rappers can't see. Most of them scared to witness. Go on, close your eyes. There's one right here for the trenches. Bad bitches, natural hair or extensions. Hood niggas that'll probably grip like some dentures. Brothers on them fences. 23 and 1 out. Praying at that commissary hit before it run out. Bitches on the gram, dog filter with their tongue out. Couldn't stay home because they found the dugout. Closed casket, burner in the low jacket. My co-captain, riding on these whole rappers. My hoes fabulous. Now I don't mean that derogatory, but I'm a player and there's no my women riding for me. I avoided Maury. I got 2 jets. If I can't make it through for them, then I'm useless. Sit down that roof, Chris, with a couple bosses. After the war, just to count our losses. There's not many. You see a smile on my face, but I'm not friendly. Gun on my waist, sipping white Henny. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on this war in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know light. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in this world been my whole life, my whole life. It's so melodic. When I be dropping this ebonics, this ghetto phonics, it got me on the level supersonic, my bomb atomic. And you know where you can find me, somewhere probably folding this paper origami. My name is pure as the Sani, my wave is like a tsunami. I went from 0 to 100, feeling like Ricky Bobby. I made a deal with the Reaper, got a couple wives, they some keepers. Talk a lot of shit, but you can't walk a mile in my sneakers. Bitches go to Miami, come home and change features. Now she got a BBL, her ass fatter. Trying to show up all them niggas that laughed at her. Now when they see her, they only wanna fuck her. They just wanna touch her, they don't wanna cuff her. They just wanna come and kick it with her like a punter. Turned her to a runner, now it's all aboard the train. Fenty on the face, but it's not concealing the pain, it's a shame. So I'm in the hood like some rap snacks. I know niggas kill you and your mama for a scat pack. Dark tint, matte black, they do it for half that. Had you like 90s Missy in a fucking trash bag. I'm from Philly, we don't do bank accounts, just cash app. I spit a verse and I just watch the time slow. This that guy flow, this that shit that rappers die for. This that uncut Tahoe Wall straight from Pablo Escobar. I be at the bar like Moscato. They think it's effort, but no, this that block work. Make the countermeasures, take pleasures, making an op hurt. Lighters in the sky, cause every verse is a concert. My mind work at speed y'all can't fathom. Listen to the words of a champion. And Ken, the streets need another anthem. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know like. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Waiting on this war in my whole life. I just hope this shit go right. Living in the dark, you don't know life. Gotta got my heart with my bow tie. Living in this war in my whole life, my whole life.
From Westworld. Let's get it. Don't be sure, tell them make sure. If not, we gon' make more. Clips say it hold 20, but I think it could take more. Grab a stick, fire on your camp, we gon' make s'mores. I ain't satisfied with my spot, then I'ma take yours. No matter how many roadblocks in my way, I'ma break forward. This path I'm on is so damn narrow, I just stay forward. Put them on my plate, I'm never full, I just ate more. Put them on my plate, I'm never full, give me 8 more. Nigga, I don't sugarcoat shit, bitch, I'm straightforward. Don't give a fuck if they don't let me in, I just break doors. Ballin' so hard, they asking what team that I play for. Scammer who? They ain't stopped making guns when they made yours. Sick with it, feeling like I woke up with stage 4. They ain't want the beast loose, but they opened up the cage for. Endure the pain, been through hard times is what I'm made for. Paid my dues, never left a wage, I just rage war. So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world, got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Still against all enemies. In high school, you was the man that's lost memory shit. Lost energy, never lost my energy. Never lose control, never losing, dog, I plan to keep. You lose your mind where I'm from, I ain't talking from what you see. I never lost soul, losing time, wasting steady pacing. You off track, I'm on that. You pray to God, hoping he can save you. But the power about war, and that's a different angle. This another lost cause, and I'm just adding to the list. They not seeing me for that reason. Got a flash on the grip. Nigga, big priest. They gon' judge me by my increase. And I'ma keep stepping in these joys to the increase. Just got off the phone with Jacob, and he said it's time to shine. Certified, blue dot, put it on you, now you verified. One Westworld, bigger than World War III. Do not sleep, it's not cheap, and it's still top 3.
So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world, got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past, don't be a story in my page.
Came on boats and then chains, so when I get rich, I'ma grab a boat and 10 chains with 12 ribs from each tribe. And each rib gonna have at least 3 kids. Yeah, I'ma have a deep squad. Been rapping since knee high. Now a nigga shack size. Spit that holy fire, when you hear it, you get baptized. One Westworld, yeah, you niggas know the logo. And I'ma bust it down so the haters see the glow. Let's have a feast, let's shine on our enemies. Right in their face, let's blind all our enemies. Cause now we have, but we come from half, not Throw that cash on the ground, my nigga, let's cast lots. I started from the bottom, birthed out of mud, raised by gangsters, turned out a thug. I ain't give a fuck. Burnt out I was from hitting licks in and out and selling nicks in the drop.
So many chains and gold teeth, it's the blood of a slave. Sit on a throne with a gold crown from the blood of a slave. This is our world. Got it from the mud to the grave. Become a thing in the past. Don't be a story in my page.
All right, this is Rude Speech, man. We got Captain Taiwan in the building. Yeah. So, Cap, man, let us know where you from.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man, on Rude Speech, man. I break it down right quick,
don't forget it. One who West in my brain, one who West in my heart, one who West when I finish, one who West when I start. Big shine. Big glow, I be gone till November, let my bitch know. I'm back by the winter, bubbling like Crisco. I need my pockets all swollen like a lymph node. Talking out the side of your neck, get you a slit throat. I stay broke, don't care if I got $1 million. Looking down on me, I put your brains on the ceiling. Fuck kicking down the door, we bout to demo the building. These fake cats all in these groups, I wonder who ya. Shoot ya off your pulpit, hallelujah. 4-pound gun youngin' down like it's a cougar. On my feet, combat boots, or is it Puma? Words spreading around about me, none of it rumor. All truth, very big facts, very large caliber on very small cats. Complex pistols, ladders, and all that.
We live?
Sir.
Well, we got it.
Yeah, I had
Check. So what? Yeah. So put a 1 in the chat if y'all could hear us. This is the ISUPK scripture breakdown class happening outside of headquarters. So tonight's topic is about Amar'e Stoudemire, you understand, and the Khazarian traitorous converts. All right, that's some of the things that we're gonna get into tonight. If y'all have any questions, you can go ahead and type them in. And just so y'all know, in the midst of the beginning of World War III, we have traitors like Amar'e Stoudemire who converted to Judaism and went to learn our culture from our oppressor who stole an identity. And as a result, you understand, from this cat, you understand, loving his oppressors so much, he turned on blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians and said, F the black community if they do not side with Israel or aid Israel, as if Israel, you understand, has ever done anything, you understand, for the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians inside of America. I know they weren't around for the Flint water crisis. I know they weren't around for the drought in Mississippi. I know they weren't around, and we could talk recent events, we could talk past events, and we can actually talk about their involvement inside of our pain. You understand, inside of our destruction. All right. Just you know how to save the comments, right, for the questions. All right. So a couple of things that we want to get into. So that led to Commander General Yohana addressed it on Black Watch, and Commander General Yohana will be joining us this evening on Cross the Line. You understand, to discuss World War III, some of the prophecy. If y'all have any questions, make sure you save them for this evening. And outside of that, then that led to that led to Amar'e Stoudemire's younger brother, Jarrell Stoudemire, reaching out. So I ended up having a conversation with him, and he said, "Listen, I want you to know that I ran across your clip on the internet. So you heard that, Shaw. The shorts are working." So Jarrell Stoudemire ran into the actual short, and he said, "Man, I agree with everything that you said, because Captain Azariak did a clip, Commander Janihana did a clip, and then last week on Cross the Line, we had discussed it. So we brought the brother, you understand, onto the show, and you know what I'm saying, we conducted an interview, and basically his stance is we should not allow traitors, even if they're our brother, to portray themselves as a voice, you understand, in our community when really they're contrary to our advancement, all right, to any progression, to us moving forward, because really, you understand, they would rather serve another nation." And that's why, you know what I'm saying, I brought some books here tonight that I definitely, you know what I'm saying, want to bring out. And if anybody has any questions on the topic, you know what I'm saying, we could definitely get into that. But one of the main things that I want to get into is how we know the scriptures. As a matter of fact, could we get Revelations 2 and 9 real quick? Whoever got it, you could read it for me nice and loud. We have the microphones as well.
Yes, sir.
Revelation 2 and 9.
Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. I know thy works and tribulation.
You understand that? Now, the Most High knows our work and our tribulation. That's what we experience here inside of America. Work and tribulation. Go ahead.
And poverty.
And what?
Poverty.
You know, this is one of the richest countries in the world, and this country has, you understand, one of the lowest rates of food security in the world. We have this now. I definitely want to play this. You can have that queued up. I want to play it after we get into the scripture because that's basically going to set the tone for the rest of the class right there.
What else did you want?
I'll send you some stuff as we go on. Definitely want that. I also have an article about a brother who was paid $50, and meanwhile he was smuggling tons of cocaine into America, claimed to have no idea. But once again, that's just how they use us, you understand, to push their programs forward. The same way that employer didn't tell that cat what was going to be on that truck and used him in order for him to get gain. That's the same way they use an Amar'e, like, you understand, like he's a pet. You understand? A token. All right. Continue reading.
But thou art rich.
But thou art what?
Rich.
Now, why are we rich even though we're in poverty? You know, we're on the bottom of every socio-economic ladder, you understand, around the world. We have no country. We trade nothing on the world market. We're absolutely destroyed as a nation. Why is it that we're considered rich? Because we're going to inherit the earth. Because all the signs that you're seeing right now with World War III, earthquakes in diverse places, wars and rumors of wars, Dedan, you understand, Saudi Arabia getting in the mix. You know what I'm saying? The Valley of Jehoshaphat, you understand, the Valley of Decisions, our judgment coming to take place now. The more that you start to see all of this turmoil going on inside of Gaza, the closer that we get to actually receiving our kingdom and our inheritance. That's why we're rich, because this world belongs to the same people that they call bywords. You understand? Read on.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
Go ahead.
And are not.
And when they turn around and now when they profess themselves to be Jews and are not, that was going on even all the way in Yahushua time. There was Edomites who converted to quote unquote Judaism since the time of Babylon. Bring out some of the history on it. And they went on to fulfill certain positions in the government. Like, for example, they try to say Herod. Herod claimed, you understand, to be a Jew. Herod was an Idumean. Idumea is another word for Edomite. You understand? It's a Latin word for it. Good.
But are the synagogue of Satan.
But they are what?
The synagogue of Satan.
And that's what they have been all the way since, you understand, the Babylonian captivity, moving all the way up into another conversion that happened in 740 AD, known as the Khazarian Empire. And we're going to find out why we don't know about this. Now, this is the same man who's riding for them because, okay, I hate to use this term, but how many of y'all have ever ran into a so-called Old Testament Israelite before, right? So a quote unquote, you understand, Old Testament, you understand, Israelite is a brother who has basically converted to Judaism or some form of Judaism. And as a result, his roots is learning his culture from our oppressor, just like Amar'e Stoudemire. Now let me ask y'all, why does the Jewish man not believe in the Old Testament? Anybody know? I mean, that's the truth. You understand? But he claims to be in it. They're trying what you said is the truth. But what's told to the world, you understand, is that they deny Christ. So let me rephrase the question. The so-called Jew, why does he deny Yahushua? Anybody know? This is what the sister, get the sister hand. What she said is absolutely true. You understand? She said Yahushua is the king of the Israelites, not the Edomites. This is true. But there are Edomites who are portraying to be the people of the book. So as a result, why do they deny it? Since nobody knows, for time's sake, I know Captain Shemawala knows. You understand? You got your hand up?
Brother.
Hold on.
Oh.
No, I pointed to you. This is true, which is close to what the sister said. You said somebody said something online?
Yeah, Dan said that because the laws weren't given to the Khazars.
The laws weren't given to the Khazars. This is true. You understand? But I'm going to tie it all in. You know what I'm saying? For you. We're going to get just, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of history. So one of the things that I want to get into tonight while we talk about this topic is, remember that what we're about to read about is the people that Amar'e Stoudemire decided to go and get his culture from. He wants to learn it secondhand. All right. It's like you know what it's like. Imagine so this is like a very viral age, right? So you ever notice we do some trendy dance, it goes on TikTok, and then our oppressor gets it and waters it down completely, and now it's completely dead. It's like you're unalived, right? The reason being is like, imagine instead of going to the source of who started the trend, you go to the watered down version. That's basically what he's done. He went to the flavorless version of our culture. You understand? So now this book right here is called Chosen People from the Caucasus. Now, just so y'all know, a lot of people know about the 13th tribe. 13th tribe was written by a Jewish man named Arthur Koestler. Arthur Koestler wrote this book in the early 70s. I want to say somewhere around 1971. And the 13th tribe was, he's saying, okay, if these people who are claiming to be the Jews say that they're the Jews, if they are the Jews, that would make a 13th tribe. When there is no 13th tribe, there's 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And a lot of people denounce that book. Listen, don't worry. I'm not even going to bring that book out. But what I do have is, since a lot of people don't like that book, and just so you know, I'm joking, there's a brother in the school who has half of my books, who will remain nameless, Captain Khazarian. And as a result of this, you understand, I have to settle with these. So I have a history of the Jews in Russia and Poland. All right. I have the Jewish Encyclopedia. This book goes back to 1904, volume 4, and it's Khazars to Dreyfus. Khazars is actually spelt with a CH here and not a KH. I also have The Mask of Edom and The Jews in Their Own Land. All right. So a couple of books. We won't use the 13th tribe, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other sources that all talk about the Khazarian conversion. And here's something else too, right? If you talk to a Jewish man, they're going to act like they have no idea what you're talking about. Then when you bring up the Khazars, they're going to say that theory was debunked. Well, I'm going to show you something that they never debunk. And when you bring it up, they say, oh, well, it did happen, but not on that scale. Well, I thought you just said it didn't happen. It was debunked. Now it just happened on a smaller scale. Don't let them lie to you. Like, let's not forget who the devil in the earth is. You think they're going to tell you the truth ever? No. Good.
Before we continue, sir, I just want to let everyone know that we have South Carolina on the class with
Give
us.
South Carolina a hand.
We have UPK Windsor on the stream with us as well.
Get UPK Windsor.
HQ.
You know what I'm saying? Get headquarters a hand. All right.
And we do have some questions whenever you're ready.
No, so on topic or off?
I believe they're off topic.
Hold the off topic questions. I just want to run through some of this history.
Wait, I think South Carolina has on topic.
Okay, what's your question on topic?
We can't hear you out.
You got on mute.
You're unmuted, but we still can't hear you.
What's up with the brother's mic?
I'm not sure, but we'll come back to you, South Carolina.
No, he's not unmuted.
He just came back on off mute.
Okay.
On mute.
All right. So what I want to do is, so there's I want to read a little bit in the introduction of this book, and then there's a little bit inside the chapter. So bear with me. We're gonna do a little bit of reading. You understand? And once again, this book is Michael Bradley, Chosen People from the Caucasus. All right. So now, check this out. It says, during the period of slavery, Africans in America, estranged from their culture and religion, wanted to associate with a people who had escaped from bondage. Those who could read the Bible accepted the story of Exodus literally. This story of Jews escaping from bondage in Egypt became more real to them as others because they were slaves holding on to thin hope of escape. Now, once again, the same people who were enslaved in ancient Egypt are the same people who are enslaved in spiritual Egypt today. That's the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. That's still our history. But now even they can turn around. They always try to make the pain about themselves. You understand? But now they're talking about, quote unquote, African Americans who look at the Exodus because of bondage and try to correlate a struggle. You understand? So now it says, became even more real to them than others because they were slaves holding on to a thin hope of escape. Jewish folklore became real to them. This is a part of Black America's sentimental attachment to the Jewish people, an attachment that is sometimes called friendship and sometimes called an alliance. And that's what, you understand, Amar'e Stoudemire thinks that he has with Jewish people today. When the second he turned around, give me 1 second, sis. When the second he turned around and did one interview with quote unquote Black Hebrew Israelites, which let me tell you something, Black Hebrew Israelite is not only a slur for them, but it's an oxymoron. Saying Black Hebrew Israelite is like saying white George Washington. You see how it's ridiculous? Because everybody knows George Washington is white. Well, all the Jews are black. It's an oxymoron. You have no alliance with them. They are our enemies. And it says, it is in actuality an indulgence in fantasy. Today, a large number of Black Americans think of the Jews as people of the book. They look at them like this is the chosen. And I remember, you understand, being young and going through Brooklyn and Eastern Parkway and seeing these small hats and the curls and all that and saying like, this is who God chose. There's no way this is God's chosen people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. So now it says, and they look more favorable on them than on other Caucasians. These poorly informed blacks do not know that the Jews of Europe played the same role in their enslavement, oppression, and colonization as other Europeans. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah, make sure she has the mic.
Yeah, make sure she has the mic. And what you said is true, but it's we'll get into a little bit of that later. All right. All right. So now it says, this is why chosen people from the Caucasus will cause heads to shake, change many minds, and challenge people to discard their long-held fantasy about the Jewish people. So now check this out. So now this isn't good. You got a question?
Sorry, if I made just a quick comment, it just seemed like it all boiled down to our oppressor stole our identities, but yet they're trying to teach our people who we really are when they're not teaching the truth.
That's exactly what they're trying to do. And not only that, but you ever notice like maybe every 3 to 4 years, there's a new Holocaust movie that comes out? You know what I'm saying? You know,
Oppenheimer just came out like 2 months
raise your
ago.
hand though. Good.
Oppenheimer came out like 2 months ago.
I don't even know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? But what is it about?
The building of the atomic bomb.
Oh, okay. That is who built the atomic bomb, right? So now you have Oppenheimer that comes out. You got the little boy in pajamas. You know what I'm saying? You got Schindler's List. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you something, right? Just give y'all a little personal tip. I went to Catholic school when I was younger. And they brought a Holocaust survivor into the school who wrote a book called 4 Perfect Pebbles and made her tell the story in front of us. and made us sympathize with her. And I'm sitting there like, I thought we have two different religions. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in the Catholic Church. There's supposed to be Jesus all around the wall, which is really Caesar Borgia, but they got a giant crucifix here, another one over here. The nurse the nun walking around with rosary beads, and you have someone in here who denies your Messiah, your quote unquote Messiah. That's the power and field of influence that they have, that they will still project their pain on everybody else to garner this sympathy. When what we're about to realize, and what we're about to learn today is that they were financiers in the transatlantic slave trade. So it says, as financiers and insurers of European maritime commerce, so meaning all the ships, maritime has to do with shipping. It says a commerce largely focused on the slave trade for 3 centuries. Jewish mercantile houses amassed vast fortunes in both Europe and North America, fortunes that were often interrelated by family and marital ties in Europe. Conversos operating out of Madrid. Now, if anybody doesn't know what a converso is, during the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade, you had the Spanish Inquisition and you had Ferdinand and Isabella, you understand, which was the king and queen of both Spain and Portugal. And they were forcing everyone to convert to modern day Christianity of the time, or Catholicism. You had to follow the Bible. You had to follow Christianity. Jewish men who didn't want to lose their seat or lose their power became conversos and proclaimed to be Christians, so that this way, you understand, they wouldn't be, expelled or persecuted by the Spanish. All right, good.
You wanna? I got a on the Jewish Heritage Alliance.
I got a lot. You know what I'm saying? You can hold that for a minute, all right? The water, though, you know what I'm saying, for looking it up so quickly. You understand? And it says, in Europe, conversos operating out of Madrid and Sevilla handled the business of Spanish slaving. Jews openly operating in Amsterdam served the financial needs of Protestant slavers. In America, a flourishing Jewish financial community entered mainly in Newport, Rhode Island, financed and insured slaving voyages by Yankee captains. So you got to understand, they'll turn around and tell you the Holocaust, the Holocaust, the Holocaust, when they were responsible for our Holocaust. You understand? They were responsible for financing. Wait till you find out that it was Jewish men who financed Columbus. You understand? And in his entire discovery of America, all of that is inside this book. You understand? So now, a couple of other things that I want to get into here. Let me see something here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we're gonna get straight into that right now. So it says this is page 17 in Chosen People from the Caucasus. It says Jews had, and now when it says Jews in this capacity, we're talking about the Jewish man. We're talking about the impostor, all right? Jews had immense influence in the expansion of Europe that began in 1492. 1492 is when Columbus sailed the ocean blue and culminated in the world domination. 4 conversos, there's that word again. You understand? Jews who had supposedly and voluntarily converted to Roman Catholicism put up most of the money to finance the first voyage of Christopher Columbus. In the early days, and that's why there's another book, you understand, we could have got into, but I don't got too much time tonight, on this Hope Sails, The Secret Voyage of Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was a converso. His name was actually Cristobal Colon. He was a Spaniard. And he was a Spaniard who was actually a Jewish man who converted to Christianity. And a part of this voyage was, you understand, him trying to find a place where they could have religious freedom as well as get rich. All right? Shalom, Hebrew. You understand? So now it says, the money to finance the first voyage of Christopher Columbus. In the early days of conquest of the Americas from 1494 to about 1550, Jews were a numerous minority, if not an actual majority, of the so-called Spanish colonists that settled in the New World. Many of the conquistadors were Jewish, and as such, took part in the most brutal episode of genocide and extermination the world has ever witnessed. Now, who were they exterminating? They were exterminating the Arawaks. They were exterminating the Tainos. They were they exterminated, you understand, the Aztec, the Mayan, and the Incan empires. Like, so when I turn around and say blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, you have to understand they oppressed every single one of us. I say this all the time. The Nina, the Pinta, and this, hold your point 1 second, sis. The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria were slave ships. And they were financed and endorsed, you understand, by this Jewish banking cartel. All right? So now it says, the most brutal episode of genocide and extermination the world has ever witnessed. Within a century of 1492, the Native American civilization had been destroyed and the population decimated by enslavement, starvation, and disease. When Native American labor grew scarce because of genocide, Africans, which these are not Africans, these are, you understand, these are Judeans, you understand, which they took. It says Africans were forced into the New World tropics to slave in the mines and on plantations. It has been estimated reliably that between 10 and 15 million African and African Indians perished in slavery between 1494 and 1865. Those numbers are so low. You understand? You want to say something? This book right here is Chosen People from the Caucasus, and we're on page 17. Now, what we do know is when you actually go and you look at the transcripts of the insurance companies, what they would do is they would keep a list of the cargo. It's actually over 90 million that died just crossing the Middle Passage. Never mind who died, you understand, from getting limbs cut off, from being unalived. So you understand, maimed, all that, so on and so forth. But also, I mean, through the starvation, through syphilis, it was hundreds of millions. It was 70 million North American Indians. It was 25 million so-called Mexican Indians. Another 70 million Caribbean Indians. All that perished when you actually go and look at the real numbers. And it says, but a matter of fact, you know what? He might have tried to be a little honest. It says it on the next line. But some estimates range as high as 100 million victims. We ain't got to go too far to find the truth now. You understand? As conquistadors, financiers, and insurers of slaving voyages, and as substantial slave owners in the West Indies and Caribbean, Jews played a significant role in this infamy, a role that contemporary Jews are prone to deny, disguise, and distort in favor of their own victimization in Nazi Germany 450 years later. So that's why when they go and they grab somebody like Nick Cannon, they give him sensitivity training on the Holocaust. But meanwhile, he's sitting down with rabbis who probably descend from the same people who ran these insurance companies. Good?
Is it making an error here to connect these people, these Jews, with the Jews of so-called Jews of Nazi Germany? Because it seems like, based on what you're reading, like he's connecting the two, and they should not be connected.
What are you saying?
It seemed, maybe I gotta hear it again, but it seemed like he's talking about the Jews from the transatlantic slave trade.
No, he's talking about the Jewish man who was spread out throughout Europe. He does not believe, you understand, that quote unquote African Americans are Jews. He's talking about who the people declares to be the Jews today. And that's why this book is called Chosen People from the Caucasus, because he's saying y'all are not the chosen people from Israel. If y'all are the chosen people, why are you from the Caucasus? He's talking about the imposter. He's talking about the people that Amar'e Stoudemire wants to call brother over his own.
Got it, sir.
All right, Ed? Says, is this a question? Hold your statements for now. All right? So now it says, as financiers and insurers of European maritime commerce, a commerce largely focused on the slave trade for 3 centuries. We read this earlier, right? Where now it talks about all of these different families who openly operating in Amsterdam served the financial needs of Protestant slavers. This is how you know who it's talking about. This is them that were all throughout Europe. And it says, in America, a flourishing Jewish financial community centered mainly in Newport, Rhode Island, financed and insured slaving voyages by Yankee captains. It cannot be said that Jews were responsible for the transatlantic slave trade, nor were the only people involved in profiting from it. We know about the English. We know about the French. We know about all these different countries, Spain, Portugal, all right? But Jews were undeniably major players. Now, how many people speak about them? You understand? You ever going to hear Amar'e Stoudemire talk about this? No. You understand? But he's going to say F his own people like a coward for not siding with Israel when Israel's over there oppressing Palestine. You understand? So now it says most transatlantic commerce of the 15th and 9th through to the 19th centuries, even when they were not actual voyages to capture and transport Africans as slaves, involved the products made possible by slave labor. So meaning they made money off of the actual trade of slave and all of the products which were moving in that triangular trade, meaning cotton, sugar molasses, tropical woods, and rum, all produced on plantations using field slaves. Gold, silver, gems, and other minerals were also produced by slaves worked to death in New World mines. You understand? So when you turn around and you read this, like, this is literally you understand, the crimes of these people that nobody brings up. And you'll never learn about this in school. But like I said, I was in a Catholic school learning about the Holocaust when they deny, you understand, who the Catholic Church claims as the Savior. We're going to read a little bit more. All right. It says, one way or another, the great fortunes of Renaissance Europe were built on this qualified foundation, and the Jewish fortunes were no exception. This vast wealth went to establish the famous Jewish banking houses of the 19th century. Anybody ever hear of the Rothschilds? The Warburgs? You understand? Let's read about them. The Rothschilds, Kuhn, Loeb, Warburg, and other interconnected by marriages and family alliances with these Jewish financial interests, collectively came into immense influence on the fiscal and foreign policies of European nations and North America without being hampered by national loyalties, because the only thing that they were loyal to is money. You understand? So now when you turn around and look at this, when was the state of Israel established? Anybody know?
1948.
You understand? 1948. It was the Balfour Declaration, you understand, which was signed by the British, you understand, to create the state of Israel. Anybody know who authorized and signed and wrote the Balfour Declaration?
Was it America?
No, I just said Britain. It was a member of Britain. Good.
I guess I was gonna say, wasn't it a Rothschild?
It was a Rothschild. Give him a hand. You understand? Like, now, that just goes to show you the Jewish man also controlled Britain. You understand? So now when you turn around and you go and you look, the Rothschilds are involved in these banks, financing slavery, insuring slave ships, making profits off of all the slave labor to a point where they grow in such immense wealth and power. They took Israel in 1945. You had your hand up?
So are you referring to a document that was signed back in 1919?
No. That's the first one. You understand? This is a separate document that was signed in the late 1945, 1940s, 1945, 1946, when they decided that they were going to divide Palestine and create the state of Israel. All right. So now let me fast forward a little bit more and let me show y'all something. All right. Good.
Want me to see if South Carolina is ready?
South Carolina, you got a question on topic?
Slack, sir, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Cause I just want to know the difference between if there's a such thing as a Khazarian Jew and an Ashkenazi Jew.
Okay. The people of modern quote unquote Jewry today, that like, okay, when you see a quote unquote Ashkenaz, they are direct descendants from the Khazars.
Okay.
You understand?
So,
And here's what's even more crazy. They call themselves Ashkenaz, but Ashkenaz was a son of Japhet. So how are you claiming anti-Semitism when you're naming one of the sons of Japhet? And that's because Russia is a Japhetic land. And we're going to get into that. That's why, y'all ever read Babylon to Timbuktu? When you read from Babylon to Timbuktu, you ever notice that Rudolph Windsor is under the influence and idea that the Jewish man is actually Japhetic? That's because of this Khazarian conversion, because they came from those lands. Right, in chapter 2. Now, I'm going to show you all that's BS. You understand? And not only am I going to show you all that BS, it's out of their own mouth in this encyclopedia, which contains a source of a primary document where they tell you where they came from. All right? Do a little bit more reading. You understand? Y'all going to get sick of my voice tonight, but it's okay. You understand? This is all extremely important because this is going to answer these questions. All right? So now it says on a slightly less esoteric level, and there's so much that I want to read in this book. You understand? Like I just skipped over 3 pages about the A-bomb and how they purposely tested those weapons, you understand, on Asians and not Caucasian societies. All right? So now it says, on a slightly less esoteric level than psychoanalysis, it is commonplace observation that Jewish professors are inordinately represented in subjects such as sociology and anthropology. This is why you've never heard about the Khazarian Empire in school. This is why there's not major case studies done on it. This is why it's not broadcasted, because they are the ones who sit on top of these societies. It says subjects of study that deal with human relations and development. Jewish experts in these fields are again inordinately represented on boards of education, which is why in the Board of Education in New York, they make you learn about the Holocaust, even if you're in a Catholic school. Influencing what is taught from preschool through graduate study. This is who's responsible for telling us that Columbus, you understand, discovered America. This is who's responsible for our education system. Do you think they're going to tell us the truth now? Like, you want to know why our school systems, you understand, ain't worth a damn? It's because who runs the education system? Let's continue on. And an event of paramount importance in terms of social conditioning, we find an inordinate Jewish representation in influence of and control over mass media, whether it be Hollywood's films. Like, you do understand that it's Jewish people who run and control, you understand, Warner Brothers, Viacom, you understand everything, all of these things, you understand? And it says, and television shows or newspapers, books, and magazines. Television film production and distribution, no less than mass market publishing, is an expensive proposition. It is no accident then that Jewish creative people on one hand and Jewish financial interests on the other hand have joined forces to create and largely dominate Western entertainment and information industries. If anyone doubts this, it's only necessary to observe the credits of television shows and Hollywood films. One will find a high proportion of Jewish names with no way of knowing how many more Jews with changed names may have been involved in the production. Because that's what they do. They change their names or they put the company in someone else's name. You understand? And it says, but behind the scenes, as it were, Jewish control is even more persuasive because virtually all of film and television financing and distribution is a Jewish speciality. The evolution of this situation from the days of Sam Goldwyn to the present is detailed in Neil Gabler's An Empire of Their Own, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. Let's take it a little step further, shall we? And it says, Jewish control of North American mass media has given ample scope of subtle and not so subtle manipulation of public opinion, distortion of self-perception, and even propaganda, which has molded foreign policy. It has also permitted a gradual and incessant denigration of non-Jewish society while at the same time dignifying and elevating Jewish culture. So meaning, like let me tell you something. When's the last time you seen a Jewish criminal in a movie? Y'all can't even name one. I can name one. Just one. Good.
That gangster movie, I think it was was it? No, it was on the Mikey Lansky, Maya Lansky, and the other. There was like two Jewish people with something like that. With Christian Slater.
Yeah,
he played Lucky Luciano. He had two Jewish mobsters.
because that was Murder Inc.
Constantly.
You understand? Like that's where Murder Inc. has nothing to do with Ja Rule. Murder Inc. You understand has to do with Jewish
gangsters.
You understand? Gangsters, mafia, and organized crime. You understand now? But when you think of those movies, you're brainwashed to just think everyone's Italian.
Right.
You understand? Like you don't even think about them. You know what I'm saying? Like you're thinking of Henry Hill. You're thinking of Sammy the Bull. You understand? You're thinking of the Gambinos. This is who you're thinking about. You're not looking at the Jewish influence, but what you're going to see is now, what's the 3 roles they let a black, Latino, or Native Indian play? You understand? A slave,
a junkie, or a thug,
or a criminal, or something that I think is even worse. Or you're the butler. You understand? Like the only, think about it, right? Denzel played a cop. He played a crooked cop. That's how he wins. Now, they turn around, right? And the only time they put us in a dignified role is when it's Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr., when you're in our oppressor's military. The only time they put us in a dignified role is when it's in service to them. Everything else, we're criminals. Everything else, we're dysfunctional. And that's because who controls the media? That's what it's about to get into. So it says, and the perpetrators of these crime degradation are always, film and primetime television are filled with violence, drugs, and insensitive casual sexuality. And the perpetrators of these crimes and degradation are always blacks. Mafia or other non-Semitic, who has ever seen a Jewish cocaine dealer or murderer on primetime television or in a major Hollywood film? And that's the question I just posed. Just off using critical thinking. You don't see it. Go ahead.
What you're saying is so heavy because when brothers are growing up, they try to live that life in that square box that you just mentioned.
Right.
It's either they're gonna be a drug dealer, or they're gonna be an employer, butler somewhere, or if they want to be dignified, they join the army. Just like you said, sir.
Exactly. That's the Commander General Yohana always says that, you understand, there's very few types of films. You understand? There's white savior movies. You understand? Like the Avengers is a white savior movie. Superman. You know what I'm saying? Tarzan films. 8 Miles, a Tarzan film. You know what I'm saying? Where they turn around, they take an oppressor. They you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he's the best dancer in the world now. You know what I'm saying? He's dancing better than everybody. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they project. And here's something else, too, that's crazy. The villains are really heroes, and the heroes are really villains to their own people, right? Give me a second. I'll break it down for you, right? Now, a lot of people notice, you understand, one of the most obvious ones, which is X-Men. You understand? Like, Professor Xavier is really a coon. Can I say that? Damn, Salakia. Is really a traitor. He's a traitor to the mutants. Professor Xavier is Amar'e Stoudemire. You understand? Like, he would rather work for the humans to eradicate everybody else and serve them, when Magneto is like mutant supremacy, baby. You understand? Like, all people first. But Magneto is the villain. Superman, I almost said it again. Superman, another traitor, wearing red, white, and blue. Zod was about what? Kryptonian supremacy. Superman's a Christian. Superman is a Jewish convert because what does he do? Protects the white man in America against his own people. Good. You know what? Goku would be another one. You get what I'm saying? I know. Listen, I love anime. You know what I'm saying? But Goku's another one. But in Goku's defense, he bumped his head when he came to Earth.
Right.
That's why he doesn't remember who he is. When you don't remember or know who you are, you're gonna serve the other nations. Good. You like that, right? Right. Good.
If I may, like, could that be a possible reason why, like, our people growing up? I know when I was growing up, I was heavily influenced by watching like Godfather 1, 2, 3, Scarface, and all. I want to be like those guys. You know what I mean? Like that, to have that quote power, money, and all the rest. You know how that influences our culture to want to be like them.
Now that's what you're saying is you are influenced by it because they put that movie out, but you're influenced by it because the same people own the prison system. Because the same people are now going to make money. So you went and watched the movie. Now you don't understand you want to be a gangster, so you go sell drugs. Now you get arrested, and now they're getting paid off you twice because now you sewing uniforms for 70 cents a day in the private prison system that they own, you understand, stock in. You understand? It's a complete organized agenda. I'll give you another one. Megatron is a Christian. He's about supremacy for the Autobots and Optimus Prime, red, white, and blue, fighting for our oppressor. They make you believe you're wrong for wanting supremacy for your own people. And they make you believe that you can only be noble and diligent and a hero when you use your powers for their empire. That's what they do. I watch movies completely different now. It's hard to watch a movie. First I watch a movie for entertainment. And then after that, I watched the movie again. And I said, that was the evilest thing that I ever saw. Sometimes I battle the two. Like Black Panther 2, I couldn't enjoy it. That was one of the most evil movies I've seen in a long time. That was worse than the first one. You understand? But all for that. Now, it says in the movies and on TV, while mayhem is committed by non-Jews, Jews are presented as quiet, gentle, innocent victims of rampant crime. If anyone tries to speak out against this blatantly propagandistic, that was a tough word right there, blatantly propagandistic stereotyping, the complete arsenal of interwoven Jewish power immediately swings into action to destroy the dissident voice. That's what you've seen happen with Kyrie. That's what you've seen happen with Ye. That's what you see happen with anybody who speaks up against them, and a brutal response camouflaged with loud lamentations of anti-Semitism, where that word anti-Semitism was literally created as propaganda for them to hide behind. Propaganda for them to turn around and say, you can't speak against us. Propaganda for it to be completely taboo to speak against them. And that's why you don't find books like this on show. That's why this wasn't that's why this right here was not a required summer reading. You understand? Good.
So I would say that if I may, also
Please.
Propaganda for them to be saying that they're the Most High's chosen people when they're not.
That's absolutely true, right? So now, hold on. Doom, doom, doom. I do have some things in here about the Khazarian converts, but what I want to do is, let me see. Do I want to, you know what? All right. So now, here's what I want to talk about, all right? So now I want to talk about how these people got inside this position, how they took our identity, and this is who Amar'e Stoudemire is learning from. Remember, this is not their culture. How are you going to learn your own culture from somebody who stole it? It doesn't make any sense. So now, if we go back, right, to around the 8th century, so we're talking around 740 AD, all right? So now, during this time period, you have two major world superpowers in the area of, you understand, the Black Sea, the Middle East, you understand, trying to fight for supremacy and expansion. You have the Byzantine Empire, which on one side, which was a black ran, operated, and founded empire. All right. So known as Byzantium. The Byzantine Empire was Christian. On the other side, you have Muslims. And the Muslims are turning around and fighting for supremacy. Now, both sides are fighting these wars. And right outside, like the Black and Caspian Sea, you have an area of land where, there's a powerful steppe tribe. A steppe is a plain. You understand? So the plains of Russia, Georgia, you understand? This is where these people dwelt. They have an empire that emerged out. There were now, basically, this land was so strategic that if the Muslims or the Christians were able to gain control of it, they would be able to outflank the other side. So as a result, this is what happens. It says, doom. So now it says, this happy situation changed in 640 AD when the Islamic conquest of Persia. Suddenly, there was a major aggression and equally cohesive military power right next door to the Byzantine Empire. So these are the two empires, you understand, that are fighting for supremacy. The balance of power had changed drastically. In this new geopolitical ball game, the steppe tribes suddenly became more important, particularly because the Khazars became important because they were the most powerful steppe tribe in the region between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Not only were they an important link along the caravan route far east, but now they held the balance of military power. Not powerful enough to challenge either Byzantium or the new Islamic Persia on their own, the Khazars allied with either could ensure the defeat of the other. So now this is what they know. Religion was the obvious way of ensuring military and political control. Because the Khazars, hear this good, I want y'all to pay attention to this. The Khazars, if successfully converted to either Christianity or Islam, would fall under the spiritual control of Byzantium or Persia. This is why Amar'e Stoudemire is under the spiritual control of the Jewish man. This is why our brothers and sisters in Christianity are under the spiritual control, you understand, of our oppressor. I'm too matter of fact, we got water. I'll take a water.
We got the map for you if you want the map.
We got the map. So this is the area, you understand, in which this takes place. You understand? So you understand, Turkey on one side, you understand, which is where the Byzantine Empire is. On the other side, which you have the Ottoman Turkish Empire, you understand, expanding and fighting, which is basically so-called white men who converted to Islam. And that's who sacked Constantinople. But you understand, we'll get that. I don't want to give y'all, you understand, too much right now because I know there's a lot of information. But it's important because remember, give me 1 second, all right? But remember, these Khazarians, remember, the serpent is the most subtle beast of the field. They understood something that I pray our people awaken to, and that I know, you understand, the men under Command and General Yohana know. When you follow another nation's religion, you serve them. And that's why the Khazars said, you understand, if converted to either Christianity or Islam, they would fall under the spiritual control of either empire. They would, if they served Christianity, they served Byzantium. If they served Islam, they served the Persians. Go ahead.
I never thought about it like that. We said the Ottomans is basically so them Ottomans would be the same Edomites from first Maccabees when they came in and took over the area. You're saying the Ottoman Empire is really them.
Say that again.
The Ottoman Empire, because you were saying that there was Edomites. So
Right.
I was saying that would fall in right into in First Maccabees when Alexander the Greek, he had the 4 generals, and they just you know, they took shares of the 4 kingdoms that Alexander went and over in the Middle East.
They went and conquered those territories. Then over time, Islam conquered them, and then they arose out of Islam and then created their own empire.
And now the Ottoman could be included in that.
Yes.
Karawa Khan.
Absolutely. Like your modern day remnant of the Ottoman Empire is your Albanians, Lithuanians, Romanian, or any Anian over there. You know what I'm saying? Is the broken up empire of these Ottoman Turks. That's why when you go to Albania or Romania, what do you find? You find large Muslim populations. You understand? And the other ones who are Christian is because Turkey, Istanbul, was Constantinople. So those are the two major sphere of influences that were over there. So now it says, but some Khazar chieftains discovered Judaism and was intelligent enough to perceive that it was in some ways the parent religion of both Christianity and Islam. Judaism presented a solution to the Khazars' geopolitical problems. The religion of the Hebrews had exercised profound influence on the creed of Islam. It had been the basis of Christianity. It had won scattered proselytes, but the conversion of the Khazars to the undiluted religion of Jehovah is a unique history. There can be, so basically, long story short, right? Because I want to get, you understand, out of this book for a second, and I want to definitely get into some of these real quick before I open the floor for questions. Good.
Time check, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock? Damn, time flying. Good. The water. Mapataza?
Mike?
If you can clarify for me, if you could, Kat, the Magog and Gog, is Magog the Russians, or is that?
Okay, Gog and Magog, right, are, as literal people, are descendants of Japhet. The land of Russia is Gog. It's named after him. You understand? Magog, when you see Ma in Hebrew, it means of. You understand? So you understand, like water is Mayum, because Yam is seas. Mayum is of the sea, which is water. You understand? So when you see Magog, you understand you're seeing something that's of Russia. So those are all the provinces that Russia controlled. You understand? Like I know I'm right, because Hazahab, you understand, the Hebrew scholar shaking his head. He approves.
Yeah, that's the correct story.
Most High Christ. All right.
The water.
So So as a result, you understand, that's just talking about those land masses. So when it refers to Gog and Magog, it's talking about the land. Don't confuse it with the nationality of people. And that's why people believe that the Jewish man is of Japhet, because these people were living in Japhetic lands. But that's not where they came from. Let's get into it. So we know how they converted. This is from 1904. You understand? Old book, the cover falling off. The book looked like it got rust on it. You understand? That's how old it is. It says Khazar. It's so old it spells Khazar with a CH, like a Kha.
What's the name of it, sir?
This is the Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 4. So it's C to D, starting with Khazar, and that's the first definition. And inside this book, it gives, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages worth of their history. Extremely thorough. So it says, Khazars, a people of Turkish origin and life and history interwoven with the very beginnings of the history of Jews in Russia. Now, the reason as to why that it says Turkish people, one, you don't want to think of Turks as the Turks of today, and you kind of damn near want to think of Turk almost like you think of American. You don't want to think of it as a direct race. You want to think of it as like a nationality. And so here's what ends up happening, right? I'm going to fast forward to this part, and then I'm going to tie everything together. If a Jewish man ever tells you that the Khazarian, the conversion of the Khazarians never happened, you want to bring up the Khazarian correspondence letters, all right? And the Khazarian correspondence letters there was a Jewish community that was in Spain. they had now heard about the Khazars. So they started sending correspondence letters to find out about this Jewish community that popped up in Russia out of absolutely nowhere. So you understand, inside of this letter, it says, taking a keen interest in everything related to the kingdom of the Khazars, Hasdai begs the king to communicate to him a detailed account of the geography of his country, of the internal constitution, of the customs and occupations of its inhabitants, and especially the history of his ancestry and of the state. In this letter, Hasdai speaks of the tradition according to which the Khazars once dwelt near the Seir Mountains. Who lived in Mount Seir? Esau. Yes. Yes. Go ahead.
So according to the years, right? So this is brothers in Spain. Say, hey, you guys are Jews in Russia, and then they asked him like where you came from. They said Mount Seir. The Jews in Russia said Mount Seir.
Yes,
Good.
inside of these letters. So I'm a give me 1 second. Just let me finish this one point. Here's what happens. These Edomites leave Mount Seir and they start traveling and migrating. They go all the way up into the Turkish lands, and that's where they get civilized. That's where they learn their first instance of civilization from, is under the tutelage of the Turks. While they're there, they grow into an immense empire. And as they're there, now they turn around and say, well, we got our own empire. We don't want to, you understand, be ruled by either country. We're gonna maintain a state of neutrality. We will not be Christians. We will not be Muslim. We will say we practice Judaism. And now they only follow the Old Testament. So when you see brothers today like Amar'e Stoudemire who deny Christ, or when you see people who are quote unquote Old Testament Israelites, it's because they follow the Jewish man. And the only reason why the Jewish man denies Christ is not because of any archaeology they found about the New Testament. It's not because it's a fallacy. It's because of a geopolitical agenda to remain neutral and not fall under the control of another nation. And that's what you inherited today when you practice Judaism. You understand? When meanwhile, they came from Mount Seir. So while they're there, they started to take on not only the title of Turks, but Ashkenaz, but Japhetic titles because they were in Japhetic lands. And now they're studying Judaism. So they're looking around and they're saying, you understand? Oh, well, maybe we're Japhites. You understand? So, but originally, they migrated all the way from Mount Seir. They are Edomites. Hold on 1 second. Assist that hand up. Go ahead. Yeah, basically the Khazars were Edomites who didn't want to, you understand, be under the influence of another nation. All right. So now that can't be true. I mean, I don't know why. This is a Jewish encyclopedia. They're like, this is your people writing this. Good.
What's the name of page of that book again one time, sir?
That is the Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 4. You understand? And it's by the Funk and Waggles Company. There's 12 volumes. This is one of those 12 volumes. And it's the history, religion, literature, and customs of the Jewish people from the earliest times to the present day.
The page that's lucky. That page you read with the Mount.
It's literally like it's the first definition. So like this says this you know, in an encyclopedia, it's in alphabetical order. It says Khazars. See, you turn to the first page, it's there. You understand? Now, I mean, y'all didn't want to hear about Arthur Koestler, the 13th tribe. Maybe you don't like Michael Bradley. Maybe you want to deny your own people writing encyclopedias. Well, do you have another source? How about the history of Jews in Russia and Poland? Is that one good? Sounds all right? Let's see. Let's see. Am I making this history up? This is translated from the Russian by Friedlander, Philadelphia, the Jewish Publication Society of America. You know, this is, once again, this is your people. Let's go to page 19. Yeah. Let's see here. So now it says that this is page 20. The Khazars pressed forward in the direction of Byzantium, constituting a serious menace to the Roman Empire in the east. As a rule, the Byzantine empires concluded alliances with the kings of the Khagans and Khazars, checking their unbridled energy. In Constantinople, the illusion was fostered that the church and with it Byzantine diplomacy were an end a triumph over all Khazars. You understand? But it says, but they found itself to face with a powerful rival in Judaism, which has succeeded in establishing its hold as a part of the Khazar nation. So it says, while yet in their pagan state, the Khazars were exposed at one time and the same time to the influences of three religions: Mohammedanism, which pursued in its triumphant march from the Arabic Caliphate; Christianity, which was spreading in Byzantium; and Judaism, which is headed by exile arcs and galons of Babylonia. Now, remember what I said. There were Edomites who converted to quote-unquote Judaism all the way since the Babylonian Empire. They found their way back to Russia. And that's why, remember, when we were talking about the king of Khazaria, he said he found an influence of Judaism. Well, this is where their Judaism came from those people. All right. And it said, the Arabs and the Byzantine, if the Arabs and the Byzantine succeeded in converting several groups of the Khazarian population to Islam and Christianity, but the lion's share fell to Judaism, for it managed to get a hold of the royal dynasty and the ruling classes. The conversion of the Khazars to Judaism, which took place in about 740, is described circumstantially in the traditions amongst the Jews and some accounts of medieval Arab traders. If I was to keep reading this, it would give the whole breakdown. You understand? So now, once again, that's 1, 2, 3 sources. The first book was Chosen People from the Caucasus. You understand? Listen, at the end of class, y'all can come up, take pictures of all the books, all right? How about the Mask of Edom?
If I may, sir, the Byzantia, those Christians, wouldn't they be Israelites?
Which Christians?
And from you talk about the two major,
the Byzantine Empire,
Khan.
So those would be Israelites who, this is once again a more elongated history, but you had Jews, our people, real Jews, who were taken captive in 70 AD, brought into Rome. Over time, eventually, you understand, like in any society, we rise up in certain positions. They overthrow the Roman government in 193 AD, Servius Septimus and Priscinius Niger. Eventually, time goes on, you get all the way to Constantine, who was actually a black man. He moves Rome over to the east, and now this becomes the Eastern, you understand, Roman Empire, which he set up in Constantinople, which is modern-day Turkey, Istanbul. Him and who he, you understand, cohorted with were all the descendants of those that were taken captive from Jerusalem at that time. You understand? So those descendants, those people would be our people. Good.
If I may, so the reason I'm asking is because when the people of Esau, the descendant of Esau from Mount Seir, when they in 740, when they started to convert to Judaism, didn't that create a war with them attaching themselves to a lineage that didn't belong to them, with the people of that time who knew of their descendancy from Israel, if you get what I'm saying, sir?
Okay, if they cared Okay, you got to look at it more like Byzantine wasn't claiming to be the state of Israel. They were claiming to be Christian. You got to look at it like the truth wasn't in the earth at that time. It had already been compromised from 300 AD on. So being a Jew wasn't a priority to them. And here's the other thing. They weren't claiming to be descendants of. They were claiming to practice the faith of. They were claiming Judaism. And then over time, they took over the identity. You know, on a long enough timeline, you start to believe, like, y'all ever run into a $5 Indian that says they're Cherokee? You understand? They believe they're Cherokee when their great-great-great-grandfather paid $5 for Indian status. Because that's why it says that they're going to profess our fathers inherited lies. You understand? Who had their hand up? Hold on. We have any questions online on topic? Go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say, if I may, it's interesting when you mentioned Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In the world, they're all known as Abrahamic religions that, like, I don't know, descended or came from Abraham or Abram.
That's true.
In the world,
Con, that's what they claim, because that's the root of all of them. The root of all those faiths, you understand, is Abraham. Because that's where Ishmael gets his influence from for the Quran, is from, you understand, Judaism and Christianity. All right. I'm going to read one more page in here, you understand. Then I want to play a clip and then open up, you understand, the room to questions. All right. So now this is an excerpt, you understand, called Facts Are Facts Concerning the Majority of the World of Jewry. It says political Zionism is almost exclusively a movement of the Jews of Europe, but these Eastern European Jews have neither racial nor historic connection with Palestine. Their ancestors were not inhabitants of the Promised Land. They are directed descendants of the people of the Khazar kingdom, which existed until the 12th century. The Khazars, you understand now, this is going to say a non-Semitic Turco-Fin Mongolian tribe, because this is all the titles that they claimed. But the truth is, inside the correspondence letters, that they came from Mount Seir, which would make them Edomites. Go ahead.
That would be accurate for the Japhetic people, correct?
What?
What he just described. Would that be accurate?
That would be accurate. Yeah, that would be more accurate towards the actual indigenous people over there. You understand, like, who they learned from. And it says they created one of the largest kingdoms at their time, and at its greatest extent, it covered an area of about 800,000 square miles. About the 7th century AD, the king of the Khazars adopted Judaism as the state religion, and the majority of the inhabitants joined him in the new allegiance. Like, you keep reading this book, it's going to tell you that they descend directly from Edomites. You understand? Like, I don't know how many more sources y'all want. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'd have about 5 more if Captain Zaryak, you understand, would give me my books back. Salakis, sir. Been holding on to him since we talked to the Israeli in Palestine that night. But this is The Mask of Edom by W.M. Norman Saxon. A gang of information in here as well, all right? With that being said, I want to tie all this in together, you understand, with the play. Can you pull up that clip? So this video, first of all, I don't even know where this video came from, but I know it's in French, right? Where did this video come from? Shaw, you know the origins? General Muhammad sent this to me earlier today. It's something that was getting around on the internet, and I want to tie all this in together, all right?
Ancêtres ont fait aux Noirs et aux Indiens d'Amérique.
Make it full screen. Play.
Pour ce que tes ancêtres ont fait aux Noirs et aux Indiens d'Amérique.
Oui, je le suis.
Très bien. Nous allons donc lire ce qu'il faut faire dans la Bible. Pour commencer, tu dois te mettre à genoux.
Ces hommes que l'on voit sur la vidéo sont en fait des membres de l'AI.
This is in French, and what I want y'all to see is I want y'all to read on the bottom the translation. Go ahead.
ISUPK, en anglais, The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Il s'agit d'une branche radicale du mouvement des Hébreux noirs israélites. né à la fin du 19e siècle, il fédère des Afro-Américains qui se considèrent comme les vrais descendants des 12 tribus d'Israël. Et la particularité de l'ISUPK, c'est que ce sont des suprémacistes noirs.
Leur message est le suivant. Les Blancs sont diaboliques, les Noirs sont le peuple élu d'Israël, les Juifs sont des menteurs et les homosexuels doivent être condamnés à mort. C'est un groupe très hostile, très dans la confrontation avec ses propres priorités. Ça n'a rien à voir avec Black Lives Matter.
Ils ne représentent que quelques centaines de personnes. Ces scènes de confrontation dans la rue sont typiques de leur manière de prêcher. Et comme les militants de l'ISUPK sont particulièrement actifs sur les réseaux sociaux, ils n'hésitent pas à publier leurs faits d'armes sur YouTube. Cette vidéo, par exemple, a fait 1 million de vues après avoir été partagée par un chroniqueur américain de droite.
Here it is, right here. There you go. This is the white man. Get these white women and get these white people a hand, man.
Ces discours haineux sont légaux aux États-Unis car protégés par le premier amendement de la Constitution. N'empêche qu'ils sont quand même dénoncés par d'autres Afro-Américains, parfois du même mouvement.
Regardez l'activité démoniaque de ces frères hébreux dans la rue qui
pause
prêchent
that
la
real quick,
haine
right?
au nom.
So now, just to give y'all a recap, they're trying to say that, you understand, we're a hate group when really we're a love group, right? And now she comes on the screen and says, look at the demonic behavior of the Israelites. This is what I want to know. I wonder if when the Israelis were pissing on the unalived bodies, you understand, of Gaza, if she made a video calling them a hate group. You understand? I wonder if every other time that they oppressed them, sprayed them with, like, I wonder if they were a hate group for the transatlantic slave trade that they turned around and financed that we learned about tonight. I wonder if they're a hate group for putting out all the propaganda in the news and in the media to paint us like criminals, but make themselves as meek and gentle. And we were talking about, you understand, the mob movies earlier. Y'all remember when General Muhammad brought out, you understand, at the end of The Godfather, when they turned around and said, man, listen, let the blacks and Hispanics lose their soul. You understand? Don't sell the drugs to our people. That was anti-Semitic. Wasn't that a hate group? Here's what's even more amazing. I watched a movie the other night. You understand? And shout out to, you understand, Captain Ariat for never believing any conspiracies. But you understand, my point is, you know, it used to be a conspiracy that the government put drugs inside the ghetto. That was a conspiracy. And now it's fact. It's like you know, that show Snowfall was based on true events. When you turn around, it's at a point now where Tom Cruise just played the CIA's pilot that was flying, you understand, all the drugs in and out. It's on Netflix right now. It's called American Made. So it starts off with the CIA approaching this cat because he's a smuggler. He was smuggling Cuban cigars in. And this cat ends up going from taking pictures of South America to becoming one of the biggest smugglers back and forth for the CIA and Pablo Escobar, for the entire Medellin cartel. They make movies about it now. You know, George Bush Sr. was the head of the CIA during that time period. He passed away peacefully. You understand? Oliver North ain't go to jail. You understand? Ronald Reagan passed away peacefully. These were the biggest drug dealers on the planet. Like you look at Freeway Rick Ross, you don't understand the CIA was his supplier. That was his supplier. Like there's not a single drug ring on the planet that can be successful without law enforcement. You understand? Like, you literally watching that movie American Made, the CIA was showing him the routes to take so he could avoid the DEA, so he could avoid the FBI, so he could avoid all of these people. Because on one hand, they're going to police us so we go down, but on the other hand, they're the ones funneling it in. That wasn't a hate group. That wasn't demonic and diabolical behavior. Because once again, like, they turned around and they flooded the ghetto with drugs, destroyed our community. Then they created, I don't know if y'all ever heard of the Anti-Drug Act of 1985. You understand? During the war on drugs, which you'll find out is there's an article. There's in 2000 and I want to say either 14 or 16, John Ehrlichman, who was inside the presidential cabinet and was an advisor, said it was an interview from the 90s, but after 20 years, because the Freedom of Information Act, they have to release it. He said that the war on drugs was really a war on blacks and Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we couldn't make it illegal to be against the war, and we couldn't make it illegal to be a minority. So by associating anyone anti-war with marijuana and by associating the ghetto with heroin, we were able to police them. You know what I'm saying? And from Nixon on, the prison population jumped to about 300,000 in a brief period of time. From Nixon all the way on up to Clinton, it went from 300,000 to 2 million. I'll get with you in 1 second. 1985, they dropped the Anti-Drug Act. After so y'all are hitting us with, you understand, you're hitting us with drugs. You're taking crafty counsel against our people. Now you turn around and you start policing us, and then you make minimum mandatory sentences of 15 years being caught with the smallest amounts of crack cocaine. Now you're in servitude inside of the jail system, inside the prison system, inside the private prison system. They keep making money off of it. Then Clinton comes along and then puts the 3-strike law. Now you got 2 strikes from the gangs they created, from the drug trade. Now you get out, you steal a pair of socks, and you do life for prison in California. Y'all see the problem? So when are y'all gonna call the CIA a hate group? You understand? Like when are you gonna call the American government a hate group? It's because it matters who you hate. It's okay to hate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Ask Amar'e Stoudemire. What were you gonna say?
What's a good place to find things based on the Freedom of Information Act, as you said? So I'm not sure if you know a good place where you can just look up things up or not.
It's concerning what topic though, because like a couple of years ago they released the JFK files. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going to be released is going to be publicized. But if you want to look, you can look on the Internet Archives. You can go to FBI's website. You can go to the FBI's website. You could type in JFK files, and you'll find that they were going to stage a false flag operation to invade Cuba. They were going to set off an explosive device in Little Cuba in Miami and blame Castro for it, and then go invade Cuba. But 9/11 wasn't the Arabs did it. That's their story, and we're sticking to it. I'm joking, of course, but you could see this conspiracy. You understand? Like they have it written and documented on paper for conspiracy. And here's another thing: whether they did it or they didn't, our oppressor is still the devil.
Right.
That's the main thing to know.
Right.
You understand? If it was an inside job, they're the devil. If it wasn't an inside job, they're the devil. Like, let's stick with the root of the issue. Let's stop worrying about these little minute details. Like everybody wants to worry about the symptoms. Let's get to the root of it. Good.
Amazing. I was gonna say, I believe there's a Edomite. He wrote a book associating the government with the Bloods and the Crips. I don't know if you know about it. He supposedly committed suicide, but it's an Edomite that associated the Blood and the Crips, either one or both of them, with the CIA. Also, them supplying these so-called gangs.
Gary Webb. Gary Webb was an Edomite.
I believe that's the
yes. He wrote a news article known as Dark Alliance. Did any of y'all see Snowfall? Y'all know the Asian woman that the CIA ended up taking out, who was writing the report? Yes. She's based on Gary Webb. Gary Webb went and uncovered all the key players who was supplying Freeway Rick Ross. And then from there, the channel that was passed over from the Bloods and the Crips and all the gang connects that made it all the way to Denver. And he wrote about it. He exposed it. And then he shot himself 2 times in the back of the head. Can I say that? No, Salakia.
He
unalived
physical-
himself. You understand, 2 times in the back of the head, and it was ruled sewer unaliving.
Suicide. You can say suicide.
I can say suicide. It was.
That's a manner of death. Suicide.
Self-deletion.
Yeah, it was classified as self-deletion. You understand? Meanwhile he's Mozambiqued. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Gary Webb, you understand? It was called should have been called Dark Web or Dark Alliances. All right.
Can I ask you a question? If the Jews were funding the slave trade and they made a lot of money off of it, were they also the ones that knew that the Native Americans were in America and they sent them ships to murder these people?
You can't say, you gotta say unalive.
Unalive these people.
No sweat. Christopher Columbus knew who he enslaved. They have known who we are. You understand? Like, they take immaculate records. They just don't release it to the masses. So they for sure know who we are. All right. So when you watch this video, let's talk about who now. Never mind that, you understand, they just destroyed a hospital filled with children and all that over there. Like, what you got to realize is, now I personally don't have any sympathy like for any other nations. You understand? But I understand oppression, and as a result, as somebody, you understand, who has witnessed oppression over here inside of America, it's clear to see the Israelis have been oppressing the Palestinians since they got there. Good.
You could tell just by the expansion of the land that they kept occupying more and more over the years.
Which they weren't supposed to expand their borders, but they keep expanding. They treat it like it's eminent domain. That's what they did with Seneca Village. They wanted to expand their borders, and now you have Central Park, and you know what I'm saying. Our oppressor goes there and can jog and feed the ducks, and an entire, you understand, black community was destroyed. But they want to say that we're diabolical. We're diabolical. Why? Because we got blacks and Latinos off the drugs your government put in the ghetto. That's why we're diabolical. You understand? Wait, we're diabolical because your media, ran by the Israelis, wants to portray us as criminals and drug dealers and drug users. You understand? And we just want to say we're the chosen people of God, but you would rather us, you understand, be every derogatory name in the book and criminal. So we can't have high self-esteem as a people. So being chosen is something that's only reserved for the people who stole our identity. Play a little bit more of that clip.
Nous allons donc lire ce qu'il faut faire dans la Bible. Pour commencer, tu dois te mettre à genoux.
Ces hommes que l'on voit sur la vidéo sont en fait des membres de l'ISUPK, en anglais The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Il s'agit d'une branche radicale du mouvement des Hébreux noirs israélites. Né à la fin du 19e siècle, il fédère des Afro-Américains qui se considèrent comme les vrais descendants des 12 tribus d'Israël. Et la particularité de l'ISUPK, c'est que ce sont des suprémacistes noirs.
Leur message est le suivant. Les Blancs sont diaboliques, les Noirs sont le peuple élu d'Israël, les Juifs sont des menteurs, et les homosexuels doivent être condamnés à mort. C'est un groupe très hostile, très dans la confrontation, avec ses propres priorités. Ça n'a rien à voir avec Black Lives Matter.
Ils ne représentent que quelques centaines de personnes. Ces scènes de confrontation dans la rue sont typiques de leur manière de prêcher. Et comme les militants de l'ISUPK sont particulièrement actifs sur les réseaux sociaux, ils n'hésitent pas à publier leurs faits d'armes sur YouTube. Cette vidéo, par exemple, a fait 1 million de vues après avoir été partagée par un chroniqueur.
Now, when you pause it, it's not going to make us restart it again, right? All right. Now, what's the issue with firearms? Like, it just says they brandish their fire, they bear arms, and what's that? I thought that it's legal to be able to have firearms. Oh, you can't have firearms if you're a slave, though. You understand? Like that so happens to be the problem. Like, where's the problems? Like, I wonder if she made a video when the white supremacists marched. I wonder if she made a video when, you understand, the white supremacists marched around Boston and then put a sign up that said, "Keep Massachusetts white." Good.
And then they assaulted a black person right there on Main Street.
The same day. You understand? When meanwhile, when's the last time you seen an assault from the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge? You understand? Like, but once again, the chemical warfare that the CIA, you understand, conducted against us, they're not a hate group, though. No, because it is American to destroy us. Read on. I mean, excuse me. Keep playing.
Yes, sir.
Américain de droite.
Here it is, right here. There you go. This is the white man. Get these white women and get these white people a hand, man.
Ces discours haineux sont légaux aux États-Unis car protégés par le premier amendement de la Constitution. N'empêche qu'ils sont quand même dénoncés par d'autres Afro-Américains, parfois du même mouvement.
Regardez l'activité démoniaque de ces frères hébreux dans la rue, qui prêchent la haine au nom de Dieu.
Il faut les nommer. Les militants de l'ASUPK sont des racistes noirs.
En résumé, ces vidéos de personnes blanches embrassant les pieds de personnes noires n'ont rien à voir avec Black Lives Matter. Ce sont en fait d'anciennes vidéos liées à des extrémistes noirs racistes qui prêchent la haine.
You understand? But once again, but the wars that have been started, you understand, by the Israelis, these are not hate groups. All right. So, do we got any questions? Let's go. Yeah, now I know I reversed the class. I got with the topic first, but you know what I'm saying? I don't got the authority to go over 9 o'clock. We do got cross the line this evening. Commander General Yohana will be joining us. You know what I'm saying? Passover is April 20th. You know, we have an entire hotel booked to ourselves. You understand? Make sure everybody gets a room. You know what I'm saying? I think it's like $400 for the week. Good.
Continue. I want
Please.
After.
Good.
And also this weekend coming up next week is the West Coast Cookout.
The West Coast Cookout is next week. You understand? Captain Gaddaha, his heavy hitting crew. You know what I'm saying?
General Mayak's daughter, wife is gonna have a priest appreciation dinner in Philly this Sunday, Saturday or Sunday.
The 21st, I think it's Saturday.
We gotta check the thing.
Let me check.
Saturday, sir, 21st, like the short said.
After camp.
Okay, no sweat. Most High Christ. The what? We missing anything else?
Subscribe to CrossTheLineRadio.com.
Subscribe to CrossTheLineRadio.com and Tribe Vibes. Let's go. Let's see the questions.
Concert. Okay, so the first question we have is from Officer Sakan. He asked, Shalom Saran, can we use Amos chapter 1, verses 6 through 7 for what's going down in Gaza, sir?
Hey, Sakan, let's save that for Commander General Yohana tonight.
Concert.
You know what I'm saying? So make sure you tune in to Cross the Line. All right.
Okay.
Anything World War III related? You know what I'm saying? I want to save that for the general tonight. So make sure y'all tune in tonight.
Concert.
Next
is Sister Abby. She says, Salakia, can I get a breakdown on Deuteronomy chapter 23, verses 1 through 3?
Let's get it.
Deuteronomy 23, verses 1 through 3. When you got it, read, all right?
23 and 1. Oh.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 23, and verse 1. He that is wounded in the stones, or hath his privy member cut off, shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
So now, at one time, there's a list of people who were not allowed to enter into the congregation, which means they wouldn't be able to attend the Passover. They wouldn't be able to attend the temple. They wouldn't be able to come around, you understand, our gatherings. One would be somebody who was wounded or injured in the stones. You understand? That's a poetic way of, you understand, your scrotum, your testicles. You understand? If you were injured in your private area as a man, you weren't able to come around into the congregation. Go ahead.
Verse 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to his 10th generation.
Meaning that even to the 10th generation is talking about forever. You understand? It's like, it don't matter how many generations passed, a bastard can never enter in. A bastard, somebody who's denied by the father. You understand? Heathens are denied by the father. You understand? There were certain instances which would be able to classify you as such, and you would be denied by the congregation. Go ahead.
Even to their 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
Good.
Verse 3, an Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord.
To say Most High, all right? So an Ammonite or a Moabite, meaning even though Moab and Ammon descend from Lot, you understand? And Lot was Abraham's nephew. They are not allowed to come into our congregation. Good.
Even to the 10th generation.
Forever. Good.
Shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High forever?
You understand? Forever. So, and people still want to say that Ruth is a Moabite. Come on, man. All right. I hope that answered your question.
Next is brother Vincent said, "Can I get a breakdown of Matthew chapter 21, verse 22?"
Let's go there.
Khan. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 21 and verse 22. And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive.
Read up 2 verses.
Khan. The book of Matthew, chapter 21 and verse 20. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how soon is the fig tree withered away? Yahushua answered and said unto them, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done.
Good.
And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive.
Yahushua just, you understand, performed a miracle. And the reason as to being is because, you understand, this is, okay, faith is your works. Yahushua's works, you understand, and his reputation with the Most High was solid. That what he asked for, he was able to receive, and he was able to be given abilities and powers. In this instance, he destroyed a fig tree. You understand? Like Christ was vexed. He wanted to eat. That fig tree did not produce any fruit, and he asked for it to be withered away, and the Most High made it so. And what what Yahushua is saying, that if we have that same faith, if we have that same astute to be able to work to that degree, we would be able to do those things as well. And it's crazy because even so, like, I don't know how Christians read this and then still try to deify Christ when Christ is saying you could do what I did and more. And I wasn't, you understand, a miracle baby. You get what I'm saying? Well, neither was Christ, because he was made like his brothers. He was made exactly like unto his brothers. So what this is in essence is saying, you understand, you got to get your weight up. You understand? He's talking to the disciples and he's saying, y'all can do this too. You understand? But y'all have to get your weight up. And if you do, the Most High will hear your prayers. All right?
Counselor, Atlanta has a question.
Go ahead, Atlanta.
Shalom, Christ, sir. Can you hear me?
Hey, Shalom. I hear you loud and clear.
Sir, if I could, sir, in relations to Leviticus chapter 12, I believe verses 2 and 4, concerning the uncleanness of a sister when she has a child, whether it be like the 40 days or 80 days, sir. How would that relate to a stillborn child?
You know what? I would save that question for General Muhammad.
Khan, sir.
All right.
Khan.
He will be the judge on that matter.
Khan, the water, sir.
I am the boy.
Next question, sir. On topic to what you were going over in class, Mark Israel wants to know, what did Constantine do that was wrong while he was in power?
Okay. Okay, wrong. That's a little bit of a broad brush question, all right? But this is what I could say. Constantine hijacked the original church. Constantine is the reason why Christianity today is compromised. So prior to Constantine, what you had was, you understand, who the church today wants to call like the church fathers throughout the history, from, you understand, from the time of Yahushua all the way up to the time of Constantine. You had men, brothers and sisters who were inside the truth and being persecuted, from Nero all the way on down. And it was still Christianity in that sense, you understand, was still spreading. You understand? Like Christianity, what Christians believe today as Christianity is not the Christianity of Christ's time. The Christianity of Christ's time was the truth. You understand? It was blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians who were Israelites following the faith of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob under Yahushua. You understand? Go ahead.
If put it in a biblical perspective, right? Constantinople will go down like as a great evil man to the Lord then.
Right, because Constantine, what he did was he compromised the truth and then spread it as the truth to the world, and that's what we believe today as in a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then just different variations of it. So when you take a look, what happened was Rome at the time was in large a pagan state. So what he did was his mother Helena was, you understand, learning from the Christians. So he turned around and said, all right, we're going to unite this empire. So instead of it being divided by Christians and pagans, we're going to lump everything together. So from now on, we're going to use the Bible. We're going to read this Bible. This is what we're going to read. But, okay, you worship on Saturday, we got to win the pagans over. The Sabbath day is no longer Saturday. It's Sunday. When you look on a calendar, what's the first day of the week? Sunday. Sunday is the first day on the calendar, because Sunday was the day when the pagans in Rome worshiped the sun. They worshiped Apollo. That's why you ever notice like there's always like a halo or a glow behind, you understand, Christ and everybody. It's because prior to that, those were pagan adaptations of the sun. So they replaced Yahushua, you understand, with Apollo. So now, instead of worshiping the sun on Sunday, you understand, you worship the Son of God on Sunday, where they mashed everything together. You understand? Feast days, you understand, started to change. So we have Christmas now. Christmas was actually a pagan feast called Saturnalia, which was the worship of Saturn. So now they unplug Saturn and plug Christ in. With the tree still there, the gifts are still there, the celebration is still there. But it's a pagan winter solstice festival, which has nothing to do with the Most High. Then, as time goes on, because this is the religion of the church at that time, and you know, there was no separation of church and state at that time. So, you know, religion ruled. Now, you understand, the church starts to come into play, and as time goes on, now there's councils, and now they create the doctrine. And then as they go out and conquer, not only do they conquer the people, they conquer and spread the religion, because so that this way the nation can be one. A nation is one when all the people believe the same. So they made sure that everyone would believe the same. That's why you had the Spanish Inquisition, you understand? And that's why you have, you understand, Constantine, who went out, and that's why you have the Catholic Church, who went out and spread that religion with the sword. You had to follow them. Otherwise, the papal states would come and invade. And you did not want to make war with them. You understand?
If I may, so with that being said, as far as Constantine being the origin of what we will call the church, the body of Christ being compromised, is that the beginning of the idea of a papacy, like being a pope? Where does that come from?
I'm sorry, run that back again.
with what you just said, sir, with Constantine, that time period, 300 being the compromise of the actual so-called Christians, the brothers who followed Christ, the body of Christ, is that also the time that I think the word is papacy, like the Pope, the idea of having a Pope, where does that come from? Is it during that time period, or
that comes from whoever's going to be the head of the church. You understand? And then as that became the title of who was the head of the church. And then over time, there was even splits inside the church. You know, one time France had their own church, England had their own church, their own Pope. You know what I'm saying? Until eventually, you know, the Rome took over everything. So that title Pope was just given to who was the head of the church at that time. All right.
That began after Constantine or during his time?
It's going to be a little bit blurred because if you go inside the church history, they'll go back as far. Now, what they'll do is when they recant everything, they'll say Peter was the first Pope. You understand? Like they'll try, and the Pope is the one who's supposed to sit in Peter's seat. When that's reserved for Commanding General Johanna.
Okay.
You understand? All right. What time, Chris?
8:50, sir.
8:50. We got about 10 minutes left. We'll try to get another couple of questions in. All right.
Consul, next question I have is from Officer Ailaza Banyahawara. Salaki, sir, if I could get precepts to prove we come back in the same family after passing away.
Okay. What family did Yahweh Shah come back into?
Judah.
You understand? Shalom. That's it. Christ was here 5 times. He was Solomon, and when he came back straight back through his line. Still as a Judite. All right.
Next question, sir. Jessica Hubbard says, excuse me, sir, is Hosea 8:11-14 speaking in reference towards Mayans and Aztecs making sacrifices? Was it human or animal sacrifice?
Okay, we made sacrifices, and there are times where we had our children pass through the fire, but here's something else you want to know. Do not fall victim to at large the propaganda that was spread. You understand? Hold on, let me see if I got one more. Let me show you something. This book is called Origins of the American Indians, European Concepts, 1492 to 1729, Lee E. Huddleston. All right. I want to show you something about history and be careful what you believe. Boom. So now, during this time period, right, you had people who were trying to conquer the natives, and you had people who were, quote unquote, would be on the humanitarian side. One of them was Bartholomew de la Casa, who would be considered a humanitarian for the natives. All right. One of La Casa's greatest enemies in his battle for humanitarian treatment of the Indians was Francisco Lopez de Gamora, the secretary and biographer of Hernando Cortez. Now, Cortez was an invader, was a conquistador, what was a slaver. All right. Contributed to the debate. In 1552, Lopez de Gamora published his Historia General de las Indias at Zaragoza. The book consisted of 2 parts, a general history and a chronicle of New Spain. New Spain was Mexico, which was essentially a biography of Cortez. 6 editions of the book appeared before 1554, meaning he just kept making up lies. You understand? So now it says, the author despised the Indians and filled his volume with outrageous characterizations of them. He stated that their principal god was the devil, that they engaged in public sexual intercourse like animals. They were the greatest sodomists, that they were liars, ingrates, and the source of syphilis. Come on now. The Indians invented syphilis, or was that brought to the New World, you understand, by them? And it says, he further contended that many were cannibals and knew nothing of justice, that they walked shamelessly nude, and they are like stupid, wild, inest asses, prone to novelties, drunkenness, vice, fickleness, and that, in short, they were the worst people God ever made. Now, boom. And now right here it says, he wrote this book to persuade the Council of the Indies that they do not deserve liberty. What does it mean to not deserve liberty? You deserve to be enslaved. It says they decided that they should be enslaved. Las Casas bitterly resented the slanders on the Indians' character and strongly opposed the book, saying its author had never even visited America, but merely wrote what Cortez told him to. So, once again, this is another agenda. You know how they say that Columbus discovered America? Y'all ever heard that the natives thought that the Spanish were gods when they got here because of the armor and the horses? First of all, dummy, there was already horses inside of America. You understand? They were not just brought here by them. You know what wasn't brought here? The wild hogs and pigs. That was something that wasn't indigenous to America.
And the black rats.
You understand? And the black rats. Those came over here on ships as well. You understand? Neither were palm trees. Palm trees weren't indigenous. They brought those over. The Spanish moss trees in South Carolina, all those things were brought here. But this is what we got to comprehend, right? They spread that we were doing these things because here's what happened. They come to the New World. They have a council that they have to answer to. The council is trying to figure out, okay, what do we do with these people? Can we make war and enslave them? Well, if you can prove they don't have humanity, you can do it. So Gomorrah and Cortez wanted to profit off of the slave trade. So they spread that type of propaganda that we committed sacrifice and all this so that this way they would be able to enslave us. Good? Oh, damn. I closed it. This was, hold on. This was page 24 in Origins of the American Indians, European Concepts. I'm so happy I left this here. So be careful with, you understand, 24. Be careful with everything that you believe. You got to go through the propaganda. Another propaganda was that we believed that they were gods. None of that was true. You understand? You like history, the truth in history is on the side of the oppressed. So Bartholomew de la Casa was on the side of the oppressed, so he'll be more truthful than someone else. Like, the truth is on the side of the oppressed, not the oppressor. The oppressor is going to make history his story. You understand? Oh, y'all like that? That was bars, huh? All right. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. This is the Christian narrative of the three wise men bringing Yahushua 3 gifts as a baby correct, or as usual the story is wrong?
No, the story is completely wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? One, by the time they got to Yahushua, when you read in Luke 2, he was already like grown. You know what I'm saying? Like not grown like old, but he was an older child. He wasn't a baby in a manger. Toddler, something along those lines. And they never turned around and said that there was 3 of them. Like
they only brought 3 types of items to him. They never mentioned how many wise men there actually were.
Right. So that this is just more things that you understand. They gathered, they incorporated, and they threw in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So you have 3 gifts. It doesn't say 3 wise. Matter of fact, I believe it says it was a caravan of them. All right. So no, that's more Christian folklore. Good.
If I may add one, are you familiar with this author from the early 1800s, James Adair? He wrote the history of the American Indians.
Yes.
So would he be a primary source when we're dealing with the native Indians as far as being the Israelites? Because that's what he concluded.
You can use him for sure as a source. He is one of the books that we use. I brought him up in the lecture. The only thing I would say about him is he did believe in the Bering Strait. You know what I'm saying? That was one of the theories, but he also has certain things that contradict it. But he was he lived amongst the natives during that time period, and he wrote down a lot of the traditions and things that he learned from them. You know what I'm saying? So James Adair is for sure a credible source.
The water, sir.
Honorable. Last question. Good.
So I have seen a documentary. Like I don't know how accurate it is because I don't. So I'll preface with that. But like, how like back in the day during Hitler's time and the Holocaust and all that, the Bill Gates of those days, E.H. Harriman, Allen Dulles, and his brother created the Treaty of Versailles. That the rich guys of that time, which were the shadow government, funded Hitler. That World War II wound up being a phony war, how it led to the political climate where John F. Kennedy wound up getting elected and later on assassinated, which led to Watergate and then 9/11. The name of the documentary is Everything's a Rich Man's Trick. So it's like it's all not fake, but like it's set up for this country to believe.
Let me sum it up for you. If it's true or not, our oppressor's still the devil.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
All right, and with that, pass.
I do want to.
No, I said that was the last one.
Yes, sir. Concern.
Question?
No, statements.
Statements.
So don't forget, Command General Yohana is going to be on Cross the Line at 10 p.m. tonight, breaking down World War III. 2, the West Coast Cookout is going down October 26th all the way to the 29th. That's Thursday through Sunday. The generals will be in the building. All brothers and sisters that are able to, please make it out to the West Coast Cookout. Subscribe to CrossTheLineRadio.com and TribeVibes.com. Also, make sure you get one of Mama Scent's oils. It comes with 2 wives. And in light of the California cookout that's going on, myself, Shargapan, and Officer Malakma from California are going to be going over the Zoot Suit riots leading up to the California cookout next weekend.
No sweat. And with that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Shayala.
Wrap it up for the class. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imajim, which means to stand. Imajim Shabbat. Imajim Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Brakathum. Yajim Atah. Saw, which means turn to face the sisters. Sisters, Imajim, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim Barak. Yahweh Shemal Athum Ba Shem Yahweh Shah. Yajim Slak. Yajim Atah. Class dismissed.
Shalom, Israel.